At some point, I felt the calling of the soul, if I can say it like that, or it was just becoming louder and louder. And at some point, the discomfort of not doing it became bigger than the discomfort of doing it. That's what it felt like. And I just felt, if you talk about fulfillment, and that, that's what, at least what I aim for all the time, to keep growing and to have a life that fulfills me. At some point, the calling starts to be so deep that you're not fulfilled anymore in what you do. And then there's basically, it almost feels like there's no other choice if you want to keep having a fulfilling life. That's what it feels like.
Welcome to the Seeing in the Dark podcast, the podcast for new ways of leading and doing business. No more separation between money, power, and leadership, and being a deeply spiritual human being. Seeing in the Dark is about walking paths that have not been walked before and truly making a change in a world in which old ways are crumbling. My name is Nicole Nima Costeres, CEO of a multiple six-figure soul-based business, and here to take you into the mysteries of purpose, power, intuition, and soul-based leadership. May you embody your own unique essence so deeply that your vibration naturally teaches, inspires, and assists others. Let's dive in. Welcome to a new episode of the Seeing in the Dark podcast. My name is Nicole Nima Costeres, and today I am here with Francis Sophia. I met Francis Sophia a few years ago already by now, and she is a beautiful priestess, mentor, tantric body worker. She offers retreats in Egypt for both men and women, and she offers one-on-one mentorships where you can connect to the freedom that you are so that you can live your full essence. And the reason why I invited Francis today here on this podcast is because I saw a post from her, and this post really just rang true. And for over the weeks that followed, I was all the time, wow, this post, I feel that it wants to become an episode and to talk about this topic. Because in this post, Francis Sophia was talking about manifesting anything you want, or your life is set in stone. That duality of like, is your life set in stone, or can you manifest anything you desire? And I find it a super fascinating topic. So welcome, Francis. I'm super excited to dive in. How are you feeling?
Wow, thank you so much for this introduction and for having me. Yeah, just even hearing the title of the podcast, it's also for me, it's like about what I wrote, but it's a huge topic in my life in general. And I love to speak with it and to work with people on these topics. So I'm really excited to dive in. So thank you.
Yeah. And actually, I would love to invite you to read this post so that all the listeners can also know what we are talking about, what you shared that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have it here. So I wrote on manifestation and self-mastery. What intrigues me in this subject is the knowing that, yes, we create our own reality. And yet, everything that happens to you, every person you meet, is meant to be in your reality and was already meant to happen all along. So how does that work? That seems contradictory, right? Did I manifest this? Or was it already meant to happen? This morning, I had a picture coming through in a meditation. I saw myself, and in my field, in my space, I felt and saw a presence of someone entering that field. And that person felt fully aligned and resonating to my truth and essence in this moment. And then the knowing dropped that yes, everything that happens in life was meant to be. And we do have the free will. And through our free will, we are able to create our reality. How? So the more I step into my sovereign truth and embody my deepest essence, I fill my whole field and space with this energy. And the more I attract that which resonates with that energy, the more I can intuitively sense that which is already written for me and intentionally manifest it. Because that which is already written for me, and for all of us basically, is for our highest evolution. So if I embody more and more of my highest truth and I manifest from that place, the more I align myself with that timeline of my highest evolution that was always already written. What I attract and what comes to me resonates on the same same kind of energy of what I stand in. So if I stand in my highest truth, available to me right now, because I believe it's always evolving, it creates a reality that feels more blessed, filled with more beauty, wonder, and abundance. Because I become what I dream of, and so my being magnetizes that which aligns to that. And the last part, every detour that I take was also a timeline that was already written to let me grow and at some point end up choosing the timeline for my highest evolution. So all of them are in the end timelines for your highest evolution. Which one you take and how many detours you take is up to you.
I love it. I love it. I love how you made that distinction between manifesting on command, like manifesting anything we desire, and everything is already set in stone. And I remember when I was a teenager, when I started to explore like personal development and manifestation and was diving into my emotional world, I remember I bumped into The Secret. It was a long time ago. And The Secret was like, it was such a wild discovery for me because I remember days where I started to test The Secret, right? It's like I started to test and said, today I want to meet a blue butterfly, for example. And I started to practice manifestation with these very random things. I feel curious because I want to unpack that a bit more. Like, how does that actually work? Because I did have experiences where I said, I want to meet a ladybug today. And then I would meet a ladybug today, right? Amazing. And I was contemplating as you were sharing this post, I was contemplating, how is it possible that I meet a ladybug on that day? Because I really resonate with what you share. I don't believe we can randomly manifest anything we want. I feel there needs to be like a soul resonance with the things that we desire. If I now randomly would say, I want to manifest a computer company, and I don't really have that in my soul's blueprint, I don't believe I will manifest that. And I had that also at the beginning of my business, at the beginning of the journey, where I felt I want to manifest a full massage practice. And for like a few years, I was massaging people and I was feeling I'm going towards that, but it never manifested that I had that fully booked massage practice. And I started to realize that yes, we can manifest that ladybug, because I believe that life wants to show us you have power, you have choice, you can manifest. And I believe that's why we sometimes can manifest these random things. But then also I could feel with this massage practice, hey, it's not fully in my little Nicole personality's control how my life unfolds in each moment. Right.
Yes.
So I feel curious, what is that, like, where did that whole manifestation journey started for you? Do you remember?
Beautiful. Yeah, good question. I thought about it because I feel like I can't really pinpoint one moment, but I think I always grew up somehow with this. I grew up, my parents are Dutch, but I grew up in Italy because they were traveling a lot and they created their dream where they started an organic farm in Italy. That's where I grew up. So I also grew up with a lot of ideals around living with nature and organic and conscious lifestyle, and my parents pursuing a dream. So I think the seed was always there in that sense, to this knowing somewhere that you can follow your dreams and your truth. And I feel for me, it started when I started traveling more. First, I did some little travels, and then I went to Mexico for an internship when I was studying. And at some point, I ended up in a community in France where I met all these like open-minded people that were living all these like completely different kind of life than I thought was possible. So it opened my mind a lot to meet different cultures, to get to know different places, and basically to step out of the known into the unknown, and opening my mind a lot. And then I started traveling for a really long time. Actually, the past 10 years, I've been moving a lot and living in different countries. And I just opened my mind to different possibilities. And it taught me to more and more discover that I have an inner voice. I have an intuition. I have an inner feeling, and that I can follow this. And when I follow these, things seem to fall into place somehow, that I wasn't able to think with my mind, but I felt something. I felt a pull towards something, or I felt a yes very clearly towards something without understanding why. So more and more daring to follow that. I don't think we all have to travel to have these experiences, but it is easier when you step out of the frame of something that you know. It makes
Yes.
it does make it easier, I think. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I also fully feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you traveled a lot, and that's what helped you realize that you have these intuitive whispers, these intuitive pulls and yeses that I also love to talk about as resonance, right? It's like our resonance vibrates with something and we feel, yes, this direction right now. And how did you learn to understand the difference between manifesting on command or is my life set in stone? Like, where did you start to contemplate that question?
I think I remember also I watched The Secret. This was also one of the first times that I read about this possibility of manifesting. And more as I traveled around the world and more as I started to follow this resonance, I was able to feel this feeling within myself. But what I also started to learn by my experiences during these travels and also by diving more into modalities like yoga, massaging, energy work, tantra, exploring a lot into these fields, I feel like I started to understand more that it's about the resonance, and the resonance, it's for me, it's also about, it's an energetic. So I started to often see that I had a desire or something that I wanted to manifest, and then it would manifest in a different form than what I thought. But then if I was in that situation and I looked back, I thought, actually, that's what I wanted to manifest. It just came out in a different form. And I think that's what you also mentioned before, when it was our little mind, our human mind, that thought that, oh, I want this, so it should look like that. But then actually life, I find so many times, have something so much bigger in mind for you. If you are able to let go of that control in a way of how it should look like. And that's, I feel that's really a process of, letting go of control, trusting this resonance, and also trusting life, that when you do follow the resonance, you will receive what is for your highest evolution. It just may look like something different. But when you're able to see, that it's for your highest evolution, it's always a gift, I feel, even the challenging things in life.
I love that. I love that, because I think here also what comes in is our choice for what perspective we take on when something happens, right? Because I could have gone into like a really sad place when my massage practice wasn't working out, so to speak. I could have gone into like, see, it doesn't work, my purpose is not working, when actually life had such bigger plans for me. Because if I'm honest, massage was actually really challenging for me, because I was like a sponge, like taking all the emotions of people and like feeling really drained and heavy after massages quite often. So it was really not meant to be to do that work for a long time. But I could see how doing that work taught me so much about feeling other people's energy. It taught me so much about how to charge money. It taught me about how to work with a client, how to, I don't know, how to be in connection with them. And so I could see that there's nothing wrong that went wrong by me going into that direction of massage. There were actually specific lessons that I was meant to take from that. And when that was completed, life opened up a new direction for me, which was mediumship trainings. And I think what I see a lot is that when people feel like they're not finishing the direction that life was guiding them into in the first place, that they think something is wrong. But actually, when I look back over the last, what is it? Like I was massaging like 12 years ago by now, I think. When I look back, everything that happened from then, there was such an intelligence at work. I feel every direction that I studied, every project that I created, every event that I organized, there was a deeper intelligence seeing the full picture all along, because I can see how it makes sense. Like you said, like it seems like everything just starts to fall into place. The more we follow our resonance, the more things can start to fall into place in our lives. And then I have to acknowledge that there was a bigger picture all along, because how else could it fall into place with such perfection?
Yes, and there still is, I believe. All the time there is this higher intelligence at work. And
yes,
what I also love about what you say is that it does take the courage too. You needed the courage to let go of this massage practice dream in order for the next step to unfold. And that's what I do meet still all the time. And I feel like it's still a part of this journey, is also meeting that also discomfort or insecurity or
Yes.
fear when you step again into a new phase, a completely unknown of where it's gonna take you, but you feel it. You
Yes.
feel something is finished and you need to move on. And it takes the devotion or the courage to make that choice too.
Yes. Yeah. So you shared two things. You said one thing that really helped you is to practice letting go of control when it comes to following resonance and trusting the deeper intelligence that is guiding us. And then also now you said you need the courage to be with the discomfort of when your inner guidance is again shifting a direction. And I see also then, I think that this discomfort has to do sometimes also with, oh, what will other people think? At least for me, that was a lot of the time.
Oh, yes.
I thought, oh, I'm starting to become confusing for my audience. Like they must think like, oh, wow, Nicole is a masseuse. Oh, now she is a coach. Oh, now she works with art. Oh, now she is a medium. Oh, now she is a business coach. But actually, I believe that the deeper intelligence of life works in this way, that it weaves through all these different methods and modalities and directions, so it can create your unique body of work, your unique lifestyle, your unique way of living. And for me, there is so much magic in that. And I also notice when I tend to get stuck in one a lot, like for example, the last 2 years, I've been working a lot with business mentoring. And I noticed that now life is calling me back to include also again more the temple work, because actually that's where I was working the most before COVID hit and everything. So I can feel like, ooh, I kind of landed there. And now I feel like, oh yeah, I see the temples coming back again. And it doesn't mean I will not do business mentoring anymore. I love that. I can do it all, right? Like I really believe, especially for the multi-passionate women who are listening, and I know you are one of them as well, that there is a core vibration that we send out underneath all those different modalities and all those different directions. And we can trust that. We can trust that we can fully embody our essence and all the different flavors that live in there. And the more we embody our essence, the more our unique vibration will naturally teach and inspire and assist others. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
I feel curious how that is for you, because you're also quite a multi-passionate woman.
Yes, yeah. And I recognize so much what you say, that a big part of it is, oh, what would others think? And for me, a big part of the journey is also showing myself, my true self to the world. So that's also like an ongoing, unfolding journey, as you say, because there's so many multiple passions that live inside of me and that want to be expressed. Yeah, so I've been on this journey. I'm massaging now already about 8 years, I think. And the past 2 years more since COVID, also I started to explore other ways to offer my work. So I've been for a long time interested in my own personal development and opening my mind, my consciousness, working with energy, with tantra, with sexual healing, all these things. But for a long time I've been doing them for myself, let's say. And the past years it starts to open more. I start to open more and to bring my offers into the world. So for me, it's also a journey of trying and failing sometimes, or trying and finding out, this was not really what worked for me, or this is not really what I resonate with. So also that is part of the journey, I feel. And I've always felt actually that I love massaging, but I also always felt like I feel resonating, or I feel called to bring work that brings people into deeper layers of their being. I feel like I'm called to bring people in a transformation process, like I went through myself. The whole journey of going inwards and finding my truth and my essence, and finding the strength and the courage to follow that, and to bring that more into the world in whatever form. It doesn't mean you have to go and work with it, but to feel like you are completely yourself in the life that you you live, however that looks like.
Mm.
So the past years, the work that I offer, the retreats and the workshops and mentorships, trajectories, they are involving a lot of that inner work.
Yeah.
And the tantric body work that I offer, I feel it's very closely linked to that too, because in that work I help people to dissolve or to release emotional blockages that are stored inside the body, and to reconnect to the sexual energy, the life force energy that we all have within, which is our biggest creation force, basically, which can be our fuel from which we live our life. And it's not only an energy that is used or that can be used only during intimate moments or sexual moments with a partner, but also within yourself and as a fuel of living your truest life. So I feel really passionate about that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So what would you say to the ones who are listening that feel like, oh, I am like struggling with this question of like, can I manifest anything I desire, or is my life set in stone? Like, what would you say to them?
A beautiful question. Well, what I feel what I found to be true for myself, at least, is that when I feel like I want to manifest something, especially when my mind already created a picture around it, it's more so about how that situation or thing that I want to manifest made me feel. So whenever I feel I'm longing for something, I try to tune into what is the deeper layer of what is underneath there. Why is it that I want that situation or that person? How would I feel if I have that? And then in that way to get to the core of it, of like, okay, actually, let's say I wanna I wanna manifest a car. But why do I want a car? Because the car gives me the freedom to move here and there, because the car allows me to go easily to visit friends and feel connected to my tribe. And, so it's about a sense of freedom, let's say. So if I can understand better what the essence is about, I feel I can make more conscious choices in the little things in my life that would offer me a sense of more freedom, for example. So what I would say also to people with this question is, definitely practice or train yourself to go more inwards inside of yourself, to take more moments more regularly, even just a few minutes a day, to just connect to yourself, which means, if you've never done it before, it's just as simple as sitting down, taking away all distractions, closing your eyes and just feeling your body for a moment. And actually reconnecting to your body is, to me, one of the biggest tools of accessing that intuition, that resonance, because your body knows when something feels good or when something does not feel good. Your body really doesn't lie. So the more you develop a practice of being in tune with your body and hearing your body's voice, the more you will develop your intuition and your compass, your knowing of which direction to move to in every little step, even in the day, in the morning. Like, you can step away from the pattern of having coffee in the morning and asking yourself, your body, this morning, oh, do I want tea or coffee? And ask your body, and maybe your body says coffee, but maybe your body says tea. And you can do it in a very simple, small things. You can develop this muscle, let's say, of hearing your inner voice, your resonance.
Beautiful. Because I think when I was studying The Secret when I was a teenager, there was a moment where I started to see a certain, what I experienced, like superficial a bit. Like, it was all about luxury and manifesting that like luxury home, and that, like there was a lot of, like, for me, it felt a bit empty sometimes. And I think this can be one of the traps when we focus our lives too much, like manifesting all we desire and manifest your dream life and if we don't take our soul along, and like you said, the deeper connection to how it will make us feel, because I believe in the end, it's not that $1 million home that will bring us the fulfillment. It's not that beautiful car, or it's not that, although they can be included. I'm definitely someone that also, teaches on embracing abundance financially. But I don't believe that that's where true fulfillment will come from, because when you manifest that luxury car, then the next thing will come that you want to manifest, and the next thing, and the next thing. And before you know it, you're in this hamster wheel of needing to manifest in order to be happy. And so I believe that that's what I love and what I heard you say, that it's in the end, it comes down to that deeper resonance in the soul, like where you start to embody more of your essence. That's where true fulfillment and true success lie. Like for me, success is the extent to which you can embody your own essence, you know, to the extent to which you can truly be yourself, truly be in connection with your soul's blueprint or your soul's vibration, however you want to call it. That's where I always find the deepest fulfillment. And then resources kind of naturally flow in from there as well. So I think one of the things that I would say to people that maybe feel stuck in manifestation, or manifestation doesn't work for me, or to connect to that deeper sense of how would I like to feel in my life, and what decisions do I then want to make from there. Because if we would lean all the way to the other end, where your life is set in stone and I'm just surrendering and leave it all up to life, that's also a very passive way, I feel. I do believe that there is some interaction, conversation needed with life to, you know, to make that decision in discomfort to go into that direction that life wants you to go in. So it's a really rich topic, a really big topic, also a really big topic. But I also, ongoing. It is ongoing, and also it keeps course correcting. Like I also feel that like every so many months or so many years there is a slight course correction, because now here is where there is the most to learn and to give. I feel curious too, because I heard you say like following your resonance, but I also want to talk a little bit about the visions, because we're also at the beginning of the year, and I think a lot of us are tuning into what does 2023 look like for us? What do we want to manifest or create in this new year? One thing I noticed that the more I started to follow my resonance in my life, the more the visions that come to me were actually the ones that are already set in stone on the timeline that I'm already walking on. Like one example is I woke up one night a few years ago and I saw the church here in Amsterdam, and I saw a circle with 111 women dressed in red. And I was like, what is this? Like how, like I was just a little bit shocked with that vision. I was like, is that something I really like? Am I going to do that? And I needed a few weeks to actually get used to the idea that that would potentially really happen. And I think it was a year later or so that I was actually standing in the church with 111 women dressed in red on International Women's Day, the surrender of the strong, independent woman. Amazing. And I started to realize through that vision that sometimes it's us following our resonance, and through inspired action, we come to that next project or that next thing that wants to create itself in our lives. But sometimes it's on a random moment in the night where we cannot sleep, and suddenly this vision comes to us, right? Suddenly that new project or that new direction comes to us, and it's like, here, this is the next thing. I feel curious from this way around, where visions start to find you, if you have an example of a situation like that.
Yes, I have a very good one. The only thing is, for me, it took a lot longer than a few weeks, but I knew I would be working with tantric, kind of something tantric and sexual healing, actually since 8 years. So it didn't take me a few weeks, but quite some years. But it was also a knowing that came to me when I just had assisted a tantric bodywork training 8 years ago, or around that time. And it was a knowing that I'm gonna work with this, and there was this huge no, like no way. It was just I just needed to work through a lot of things inside myself before I was able to even accept this idea that this may be a possibility of me doing this. And just the beginning of this year, the visions kept coming over the years. So that's really interesting. I do believe that, like you say, there are some things that are just part of your journey. And like I wrote in the post, how many detours you take is up to you, and how many detours you need also, because I wasn't ready 8 years ago to do this work, but the visions kept coming, like kind of like keep knocking on the door and reminding you like, hey,
yes,
don't forget the direction. And then the last visions came the beginning of the year when I was in Egypt, and it was just very powerful and a deep remembrance, basically. And then also everything fell into place, because then I felt, yes, I'm ready. And then the teacher appeared like straight away. And then I went like in a few weeks, I was there on Cyprus, studying this ancient, incredible deep healing modality. And everything felt so, wow, like coming home. And like I knew this
Yes.
already. It was a remembrance. And I was like, finally. And I had to go through so many layers myself before. So yeah, that's definitely one really big example for me that
I have
I
a
do.
question.
Yes.
I have a question about this because I really resonate that in the beginning when we start to follow our resonance, it's questions like, does my body want tea or does my body want coffee? What feels good for my body, right? To follow what feels nourishing, what feels exciting, what feels like a yes. But then there are these moments in your life, and I really relate with this as well, and I'm sure the listeners as well, where life knocks on your door with something and you're like, oh, I am not going to do that. And yet these visions keep knocking on your door and it doesn't feel good. Like, you know, like choosing that cup of tea that feels good in the morning because something in your body says, oh, I'm not going to do this. How did you know that still this was meant to be done in your life? Because it didn't feel good. Like you would, you know, like start with practicing your resonance and follow what feels good. I relate with that. I also had some things in my life and they didn't feel good because they scared the shit out of me.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
So how did you know, like, because one thing you actually named already, you said they kept on repeating the visions. That's an
Yes.
important one. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that made you realize, I think this is something that is going to be a part of my life or that is meant to be a part of my life?
Yes, what comes to me now is that I feel through life, our soul, our essence, I feel is always wanting to evolve and to grow and to expand, if you could say that, expanding, but that's another topic maybe. But I feel there's always opportunities coming to grow and you can choose them or not. And I started to feel how it was for myself, at least, that it was already for so long knocking on my door. And I went through so many things myself to get ready. And at some point I felt the calling of the soul, if I can say it like that, or yeah, it was just becoming louder and louder. And at some point the discomfort of not doing it became bigger than the discomfort of doing it. That's what it felt like.
I
And I just
love that.
felt, yeah, if you talk about fulfillment, and that, you know, that's what, at least what I aim for all the time, to keep growing and to have a life that fulfills me. At some point the calling starts to be so deep that you're not fulfilled anymore in what you do, and then there's basically, it almost feels like there's no other choice if you want to keep having a fulfilling life. That's what it feels like. It
I
was
love that.
yeah.
So the discomfort of not doing it became bigger than the discomfort of doing it.
Yes. And I
Yes.
remember that's actually, maybe we'll tap into that later if we talk about the mastermind, but I remember that was coming up during the mastermind that I was following with you as well, that I felt there was this part of me that for so long already wanted to really like step into its truth. And I was hiding for so long that hiding just became so suffocating and so, oh, I can't, like, you're not living fully. And if
Yes.
you aim all the time to live fully, at some point, the parts where you don't live fully yet, they just become too tight and too much like, yeah.
Beautiful. So you share, because you joined your Soul Leader Mastermind, was it May or March 2021?
May, yeah.
May
Yeah.
2021. Yeah. So that's well over 1.5 years ago. So what do you mean is like you felt that you were hiding and you felt that, do you mean that during the mastermind, you felt that the discomfort of not doing it became bigger than the discomfort of doing it?
I feel it became much clearer then in that time. And also some of the teachings you were giving, they really made that clear for me. Like, wow, actually, I'm creating more discomfort not doing it, like it being not fully living my truth. And I felt that much clearer in that
Beautiful.
time. Yeah.
And unhiding was a big part of the mastermind as well. Like,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it has been such a big part and still is in my journey, where I just keep seeing parts of me that are hiding because it's more comfortable to hide. And it's also one of the months in the mastermind where we really focus on unhiding ourselves, and that comes usually with a lot of discomfort.
It was a big
Yeah.
one. Yes. It still is also for me. Yeah. It's
Mm. Yeah,
yeah.
because I actually saw that you are still also going to the trainings of the mastermind. So do you want to share anything about that? Because I just loved seeing that 1.5 years later, you're still working
Yeah.
with the training.
Yeah, me too. I love it. It's like a whole library of amazing teachings that I can still access. And I can see now that at that time, it was one layer of the unfolding, blossoming, or coming out of me. And now I'm in a different layer. So I can go back again to some of the teachings that I felt, for example, then I wasn't ready yet to incorporate. So, for example, now I feel much more ready to also like really professionalize my work and my website and my social media and all these things that in that time I was still much more into my own personal processes of unhiding and all this. And now when that's already a little bit more out there, I feel like, okay, now I have the space to work much more on these practical things. And how do I actually set my business properly? Where do I start? So actually I kind of start over again, and I
Beautiful.
see so many new gems again. Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
incredible. Yeah.
What would you say the biggest gift has been from the mastermind for you?
I feel it was in that time, it was really also kind of like the kick in the ass that I needed. Like, yalla. I just came from Egypt, like, yalla, it's time, come on. Like receiving a lot of really deep internal work, let's say, like transformational work, and at the same time, very practical things that you can do was really a push in the right direction for me that I needed, that I felt like I just wasn't able to do by myself in that time. So that was a really big gift. Yeah, it just resonates so much with the way you teach and the way we have a lot of similar resonance in the way we work. Like I also resonate a lot with the tempo work and the ceremonies and the deep inner work. And so that's beautiful. That helped me a lot. And being connected with a group of like-minded women and supporting each other and having that platform, being in that journey together felt like a huge support. So yeah, some things
Beautiful.
I feel more and more also like how some things it's you don't need to do it all alone,
I
you can
love
ask
that.
for support and connect with other people who go through similar experiences. And yeah, that helped me a lot.
Beautiful. Yeah, and just for the women that are listening, there is a new round starting of the mastermind on the 9th of March. And if you sign up before the 26th of January, you get access to 2 extra bonus calls. So we will have a bonus call in January and a bonus call in February. And then in March, we'll start our mastermind journey of 6 months, in which Francis Sophia has been a part of that journey as well. Yeah, we'll put the link to the mastermind. And also, do you want to share a bit where women and men can find you? I'm always so much in the women language because I have mostly only women in my world when it comes to work, but you also work with men.
Yes.
Is there any, do you want to share anything of where they can find you if they want to know more about you and your work?
Yes, definitely. I have 2 websites because one is my own work and the other one is of my retreats in Egypt that I host with another woman together. And our next retreats are in March. We have one for women and one for men. So that's really exciting. And the website for that is www.amentirebirthretreat.com. And I don't know if it will be posted on
we'll link it.
Yes. And the Instagram of that is at Amenti Rebirth Retreat. And my own website currently is francisluz.com. And my Instagram is at Francis and then 3_ Luz. I'm in a process of changing my name into Sophia, which is a whole other story, but definitely links into the one of following your intuition and resonance and truth. So my website and everything will very likely change in the near future. But then if you follow me from what I mentioned now, you will just be updated about the changes in that. So we have the 2 retreats running in March, and I have ongoing mentorships one-on-one, and I'm based in the Netherlands at the moment, and I offer therapeutic tantric bodywork. So if that's something that resonates, you can reach out as well.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Amazing. We'll make sure that we link everything below. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for this post that initiated this whole conversation today. And I wish you the most amazing year with your work, with your business, with your mission, all the beauty that you bring into the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and for following your resonance from that post so that we created this podcast. Yes. Yeah. Much beauty and fulfillment and joy for you as well in this new year. And let's follow the resonance. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And as I was closing with Frances Sophia, she was sharing that the mastermind has been one of her best investments she ever made. And still a year and a half after she joined the program, she's still receiving so much value from it. Now, if this is sparking your interest, there is a new round starting of the You Are a Soul Leader Mastermind on the 9th of March. But if you sign up before the 26th of January, you receive access to 2 bonus calls, one in January, one in February, where you can already start to connect with the soul of your business, where you can already start to deepen your connection to your greatness and make yourself ready for 2023 to be that year where you show up more fully for your mission, where you deepen the connection to your essence so that you can embody your essence so deeply that you naturally teach, assist, and inspire others from there. The You Are a Soul Leader Mastermind is a place where we go into deep emotional and spiritual and energetic healing, where we go through beautiful temples, rituals, and ceremonies, but where there is also really practical step-by-step business trainings and tools that will help you to create a solid foundation in your business. The same foundation that helped me grow to my first 50K, to my first 100K, and beyond that per year. And so if you are feeling this pull, you are super welcome to sign up for the You Are a Soul Leader Mastermind by going to womenofancientfutures.com/mastermind. If you have any questions about this 6-month program with an amazing group of women, then feel free to reach out to me and we can briefly explore if and how this program can support you. This program also includes 2 one-on-one sessions, of which actually in this current round, many women said, I don't even know what to ask you because this program is so complete. I don't need any extra support in my one-on-one session. So just to give you an insight on the completeness that women experience in this 6-month mastermind. Link is below. If you have any questions, reach out, and I would love to see you for the start of this mastermind in 2023. Much love and see you next week.